Hello, sexy girls. Today, I will be making you completely and totally unforgettable. Not to say you're forgettable now, but there's much to learn, much you can do to make yourself stand apart from a crowd. I have lit a candle to cleanse the space or whatever. It's this cute little candle that I made, so it's intentional. And I lit it with the sacred lighter, You Go Squirrel, which I did off camera because when I tried to do it on camera, it exploded and started sparking and it was really scary. So I had to deal with that and it was embarrassing. But anyways, it smells good now and now it's clearing the air. What do I mean by being unforgettable? What I mean is, do you want to be the type of person that everyone remembers? Sometimes you'll meet someone and they'll be like, oh my God, I have seen you around, and you'll be like, oh my gosh. The other day, someone walked up to me and he was like, oh my God, I see you all the time at the Planet Fitness. And I was like, first and foremost, that's embarrassing because Planet Fitness is when I'm at my weakest. But oh my God, you remembered me from the Planet Fitness. It can be an interaction where you don't even talk to someone and they remember you. And this is a lot to do with how you look, but it's not necessarily how you were born, if you know what I mean. I recently watched, there was I would say an interview. Honestly, I just watched a YouTube short, but it was a video, and Dita Von Teese was saying, I'll meet a pretty model 10 times and not remember that we met before. What I remember is people who have an interesting look that they put together. And that's really the thesis of how I feel about looking unforgettable. It's more about the things you do to make yourself stand out, and the things you do that I don't think are in any way shallow or specifically calculated. I think people, they sort of make this idea that if you care about how you look, or if you'd like to present yourself in maybe an over-the-top way, that's somehow fake, or that it is inauthentic, or that you want something, that you want attention. But I instead would say that if you feel like you have the freedom to express yourself in a really crazy over-the-top way, you are actually exercising the most freedom and the most self-expression. So that's kind of part of it. But then there's also some other parts of it that I'll get into, because there's ritual to this. There's a lot of things that you need to know, and we'll get into it. So, first and foremost, we're gonna have a sip of the mighty Dr. Pepper. This is my favorite drink. Yeah, I think it is. I think that it's my favorite drink. I love Dr. Pepper, but it can be any drink that you like. One sec. I just need a drink to get me through the day. And as much as I would like to not be reliant on man-made goods probably made by terrible factories, I also think that in order to be creative, in order to be our best selves, sometimes there are just things we need. And that's okay, as long as it's not you don't want to be an addict. LOL. Not LOL. I'll respect if you're going through that. But also, you know what I'm saying. You don't want to be addicted to anything. But also, if you need a little thing to get you through your thing, that's okay. Anyways, what I'm saying is to get yourself something that you enjoy, something that'll help you focus. If it's to, work on a creative project, or if it's, something that you want to do for you, you can just go out and get yourself a little thing. I used to feel bad about that. I was like, no, I need to I need to be myself and be resourceful and whatever. And then I was like, or I could go to the deli and I could get my damn Dr. Pepper and I could work for hours just with some fuel. Sometimes it's what you need to enjoy your life, to enjoy your day. And that's really what I've learned, is that it's not always about, I used to be really, really crazy about saving money. And not that I don't try now, but sometimes you need to spend money on things that will allow you to be confident, energetic, fun, whatever you need to get that energy flowing. I will offer you one sip of the sacred Dr. Pepper, okay? And it will awaken this in you, the energy you need to be your best self. Sip. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. I also have around me, I don't know, I'm not a witch, not because I don't love it, but because I haven't had the time and energy to put into like learning things. I just buy random rocks and like hope that they help me. So I have this little angel with me, and I hope that she's helping us in our journey today. Honestly, not sure, but I hope she is. And the other thing is to be the other thing about being unforgettable is that you have to, that's the big thing, right? Is you need to have something that you are, confidence is a big thing, but confidence also comes from expressing yourself, and that is internal and external. Expressing yourself through how you look, or expressing yourself authentically with what you say and how you interact with the world. So we'll start with the internal journey now that we've got our energy. So for the internal journey, we're going to follow this candle again. And the candle, we're going to hold very gingerly because we are not afraid of candles. We might be a little afraid of candles, but we are. So I want you to follow the flame. And as you follow the flame, I want you to think about this going into every part of your body. And this will help awaken the parts of you that you felt that you could not formally express. Think about the ways that you could talk to people, the ways that you want to talk to people, but maybe you don't. The jokes that you want to say, but you're worried that people might think you're weird, or maybe they won't laugh. It's okay if you have a dud every once in a while. It's okay if you have a lot of duds, honestly. Most people are just talking to fill the space. So if you get one person to laugh in a day, I feel like that's pretty big. It doesn't even need to be funny. It could just be real. Sometimes maybe you work with someone and you're like, that person doesn't like me. Why don't they like me? If you have a good reason to believe that someone is, sort of acting against you in specific, tell them, hey, what's up? Are you okay? You don't even need to say like, oh, do you not like me? You can just say, are you okay? Because sometimes that really puts people in their place. Are you doing okay today? And maybe they realize that they're acting a little weird, so they have no reason to judge you for being weird. Or maybe they do open up to you, and then you have a friendship, and maybe they didn't hate you, they're just like shy. I get that a lot. I think people don't like me, and it turns out that they're just nervous, and I feel bad about that. But it's like, girl, I'm trying my best over here, and I don't know. Anyways, just allow all of that fire to awaken how you want to be. Okay, now focus. That is not me extinguishing your fire. That is me giving what I had here and giving it completely to you. And also so I don't have to have a fire in my room anymore because they scare me. Anyways, so next we're going to work on the external. The external is important, but it's also not important. It's as important as you want it to be. If you're someone where you're like, this is how I was born, I don't care, I don't want to wear makeup, I don't want to wear anything especially cute, that is your truth. And you know what? I know a lot of people like that who are also incredibly memorable because you can tell that everything they do is like, that's how they want to do it. Like, I don't wear makeup because I don't want to wear makeup. Screw you. And that's beautiful. And if that is you, then take what I'm going to do next as more of a symbolic thing towards your shiningness of yourself. But if you are feeling like, maybe like maybe I want to look a certain way. Maybe you want to look like me. Maybe you want to look like someone else. Maybe you see, or like even people who think that like certain people are like natural beauties. It's like, no, they're not. Every celebrity, every person who posts pictures online that you think are cute are wearing tons of makeup and edited a lot. And I don't even mean like necessarily like the crazy like photoshopping your body. I think that that's not very good. But if you see someone, if you look at my pictures online, and maybe you, like, if you look at my Instagram and you're like, wow, your pictures are pretty, I mean, of course my pictures are cute, but maybe you're like, wow, those pictures are cute, I wish my pictures look like that. I saturate the hell out of those. I put like every effect on it. I make the most colorful as I can because I like colorful photos, but also because, you know, I know that that makes everything about the photo look better. It's more of a photo, it's more of an event. So someone that you see, like, who has maybe like a natural look, let me tell you, Diva's got lip liner on, she's got lipstick on, she's got lip gloss on, she probably has eyeshadow on, she has mascara on, she has everything on, because no one's natural, especially if they're like in this world. No one who is noticeable is natural because everyone looks like a cartoon character, and that's why I draw my eyelashes on. Anyways, next up, we're gonna do makeup. So, for the record, you do not need to look as crazy as me to be memorable, but if your goal is to be visually memorable, it's okay to wear a good amount of makeup. And I'm saying this because I used to be very against wearing a lot of makeup. I was like, that's fake, that's gross. I am a natural beauty. And then I realized I wanted to have fun, and I didn't, like, it's not bad. I don't feel like I'm expressing myself in a fake way now that I draw my eyebrows on and they are fake. I think it's fun. I think I'm expressing myself in a new way. And you could take that, and of course you could make a 10,000 point dissertation about why I'm wrong about everything. And you know what I say to you? Make a YouTube video. They're free. Do whatever you want. I think that there definitely is, like, there's also the balance, right? You also should take days where you don't wear makeup so you can make sure you actually feel comfortable in yourself. Because, you know, if you only care about what everyone thinks all the time, you will go crazy. You need to love yourself and also love everyone around you, and also like how they all love you, and like it's beautiful. Anyways, we're gonna do your makeup, and again, this is sort of symbolic. It can be whatever you want it to be when you leave this video. First and foremost, we're gonna draw on your eyebrows because I'm crazy and I love doing it. But first, we need to make sure we have a blank canvas. Got the strays, and now it's time to shave. Again, you don't need to do this if you don't want to. Maybe bushy eyebrows are your thing. And to that I say, that is beautiful. It's more about creating things about yourself that are very interesting, or very big, or very over the top. If you want to have, you know, a face that everyone looks at all the time, you need to really emphasize things to a cartoonish standard. You know what I mean? Think about who's famous right now. Do they look like a natural beauty? Or are they looking, like, if you saw them in real life, you'd be like, whoa, there's a lot of things going on with that. You'd be surprised on how much makeup they put on. Not that you have to aspire to fame or anything like that. It's more of an internal journey. Something I realized is you don't need to be famous to be memorable. You just need to add some spice to someone's day. I like to think about how, let me draw on your eyebrows. Sorry, I got distracted again. I like to think about, there's probably a little bit of lint on it. I like to think about when I'm going outside the bagel shop and I work near, like, kind of, not the financial district, but a lot of businessmen. And I like to think that I change the trajectory of their day sometimes, or at least make it a little off-putting. Now I'm gonna do your eyeliner, and I'm gonna give you, well, do you want little lashes? It's fun. It's a little cartoonish, and that can help you get used to standing out. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Perfect. And then I'm gonna give you a little dot, just to really emphasize how cartoonishly larger than life you are. Now, I'm gonna give you just a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot of it of lipstick. And we're gonna pack it on heavy. I used to be told when I was young that, like, you should, I don't know who told me this. My mom didn't say this. It was just like a thing that people would say in like magazines and stuff. They would be like, and I'm gonna do your blush as well. They would say you can only do a heavy eyeshadow or a heavy lip. You can't have both. I don't know why I thought that was true for so long. And then I realized that is not true and you can do whatever you want. People love, I do this look all the time. And then sometimes I'll do a really heavy, dark, vivid blue eyeshadow. People love that look. Some people think I'm crazy, but a lot of people, you would also be surprised at how positive people's reactions are to a sort of alternative look. People love to see it because most people don't go for it. So no matter what you do, maybe you, I don't know, maybe you get like a cool piercing on your face that you've always wanted. Maybe you get like, I don't know, maybe you get like a cool haircut. Speaking of, I do think that haircuts are incredibly important. Oh, let me do your eyeshadow first. I do think that haircuts are important for establishing that you are, you know, just a little bit different. See how gorgeous this blue is? It's so cute. I'm gonna put this all over your lid. It's gonna be gorgeous. And maybe it's gonna look crazy, but that's fun. It's okay to make mistakes too. I've had plenty of fashion missteps. I've often repeated the story that when I was 11, I had these pants that I don't know where I got them, but they were leggings and they had cats on them, and the cats were black and white and they were in space and they were shooting lasers, rainbow lasers from their eyes. Different time. Anyways, I was literally bullied. People were like, why the hell are you wearing those? And I was not in fear. I didn't back down. I wore them the whole year. And that was really my first foray into what I could become. Anyways. Not to say that you'll get bullied if you want to do something crazy or make perhaps a misstep in your style, in your exploratory nature, but I make missteps all the time too. I'll say things that I'm like, ooh, I shouldn't have said that. Maybe they came across as a little mean. Maybe I was trying too hard to be a part of the group. And you know what? It's okay. We make mistakes all the time. You know, if you're 9 times out of 10, you're a good time, that one time will be eclipsed. Because a lot of people, they're like a good time like 4 times out of 10. Let's talk about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut your hair. I feel like we should do something really crazy. We do like a mullet. I won't do a bob because I always do a bob because I always want everyone to have a bob. How do we feel about like a mullet, like a Marianne Faithfull kind of like a late 60s mullet? Yeah, you agree, you understand. If you don't understand, Google it and you'll love it, and then you'll get your haircut like that. Okay, I'm cutting your bangs. I'm gonna cut this little piece here, just a really under cheekbone. That's a great piece. Everyone needs a piece of hair right there. And the other one, and then this will be down here. Perfect. So now that you have a crazy haircut, you will tend to find that people will look at you more and more and more. Heavy makeup plus crazy haircut equals star. Like, I swear, people look at you all the time, and you'll notice people staring at you, and you'll be like, get out of here. But it's fine, don't worry. They're not trying to be weird. They just are so entranced by the freedom in which you live. And then oh, let me powder your face too, just because it feels fun. Don't worry, I had powder on this like a minute ago, and also my powder broke, so I don't want to Well, light a little bit. Unfortunate moment for her. Okay. And now it's all set. And you know what this means? It means that it can't go anywhere. So if you feel like if you feel like, oh, well, that sounds really fun, but I can't do it. Well, it's set now. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. It's in you now. Your DNA has been altered to be the most fabulous version of yourself. And there's nothing you can do about it. You're glam now. Sorry. Okay. Now, we have to accessorize. I do think that another mistake that a lot of people make is that they under-accessorize. You need a necklace. And if you have a little necklace, maybe you need two. If you have a big necklace, it should be big and fun. If you have rings on, maybe you should have 6. Maybe you should have 10. Maybe you need a bracelet. Maybe you need an anklet. I don't think enough people wear anklets. And you don't need like a jewel sort of like, you're on vacation in Hawaii in 2012 kind of like anklet. You can have a cute anklet. You can have like any sort of little like gem on there. It'll be cute. So I'm gonna give you sort of a cute little statement necklace. It's this little tassel, and it's gorgeous, and it's beaded. And this is from the 1920s, and I got it on eBay, and it was so cheap. And I was like, because it was like a bid, and the bid started at like $8, and I just like bid $8, and I got it, and I was like, I don't think it's a reproduction, and even if it is, honestly, the better, because it'll probably stay up better if it was made later. But it is gorgeous, and I'll be bestowing it onto you, so you can be even more accessorized, and even more glamorous and fabulous and memorable. And then another one, hair accessories. Why did we stop wearing hats? We need hats. We need scarves. My favorite is a scarf. So I'll be lending you this cute little ombre scarf that I found on the street that, don't worry, I washed. But when you're like this with your new hairstyle, boom. Perfect. What else? Oh, I think that I don't think everyone needs a signature scent, but I think that everyone needs scents. I've tried and failed to pick a signature scent many times. I love changing things too much, but I will give you one of my favorites. This is the Ed Hardy perfume. This smells so good. It smells like candy. I like candy sort of scents. Obviously I like things that are like crazy and like big and over the top, but I do think if you don't have a scent, it doesn't need to be an expensive scent. This is very cheap. It's a great way to just sort of announce your presence before you're even there. Another way to make yourself memorable. There's this one woman who I once was at the restaurant that I used to work at, and there's a woman who came in, probably would have never remembered her, except she had the greatest smelling perfume I have ever smelled in my life. And I was like, and this is, remember when I said 9 out of 10 you'll be cool, 1 out of 10 you'll be weird? 1 out of 10, I was weird that day. I was like, what perfume are you wearing? She's like, oh, look it up. She was leaving. I was like, what perfume are you wearing? I need to know. And she was like, oh, like she was like saying goodbye to her family. Like they were like talking. And I was like, please tell me. Please. I have to know. And she Googled it for me. Thank you. Thank you to that woman. Again, she was kind of she was like everyone else. But the people who came into that restaurant all kind of had that vibe. They were kind of waspy and sort of like, rich. And they all sort of had that like rich, except they weren't like fabulous. This is an alternative point, but if you're rich, can you just be fabulous? It's pissing me off seeing all these rich people who have all this money and then they wear like Patagonia. Like, if I was rich, I'd be glam. I'm glam now and I'm broke. So let's talk about it. Anyways, she was like, she was giving like, you know, anthropology, like love. I mean, hey, love it for you. What she was giving, how a lot of the other people were giving, but then she had this scent. And I tell you, this scent was amazing. And I can't afford it because it was $200. And I was like, ugh, and I should have known because of all the people who ate there. But it was an amazing scent. It was by Diptyque, and it smelled so good. If anyone rich wants to give me a birthday present, JK. But it's I will never forget it. It's by Diptyque. It was called Eau de Sang, and I was like, I went into a department store recently, and I like pretended that I wanted it, just so they would give me like 3 samples, so I could just walk away and like smell them for the day, because it smelled so good. It's just little things that you can do to make yourself memorable. I have one more thing to mention. So, I think that these things can be in line with sort of a spiritual thing. I don't mean that makeup necessarily in itself is spiritual. I think that everything you do, if you do it with intention, can be spiritual. But I used to think that there was a spiritual part of the world that was like woodsy and folky, and like they played guitars and they had long hair, and like that was like the real part of the world. And then there was the city, and the city is like hard, and like everything feels fake, everything's stupid. And I realized I was very wrong about that. And to simplify this, I have this cassette. It's a mixtape that my aunt actually made for me. And I picked it. First of all, I picked it because there's a lot of intention with it, because it was made for me, and I think that's really cute. But it's mostly like new wave. It's got Pet Shop Boys on it. I love Pet Shop Boys. It's got Tears for Fears. It's got Erasure. It's everything. It's really good. And I just feel like, you know, that was a time where people were very adequately expressing themselves very truthfully, and it was through electronic and synthetic sounds, synthesizers. I feel like that's something that people say, oh, that's fake, and it's like, no, it's not. It's like makeup, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not fake if you're expressing yourself. That's how I feel about electronic music. I finally came around on electronic music, and now I am an absolute whiz in the DAW, and I'm learning how to use electronic music, and I love electronic music. Not just like more like dancey stuff, but just everything. I mean, everything's made electronically now. So I'm not saying that, anyways, what I'm saying is it's not fake if you need to use the tools of today to make yourself how you are. That's how I feel about it. I mean, people didn't wear a lot of makeup like 200 years ago. I mean, they did wear some makeup, but, you know, I mean, and we see like that was like a more natural time. People wore makeup, there were corsets, or everything. You know? One more sip before the final step. I'll give you another sip too, to give you strength. The final step. The final step. The final step. Is the camera. So, I have said this before, and I was saying a little bit about like pictures and like editing things, not like editing your body or things like that, but just like, you know, making things more colorful, making them more fun. And I think that that's the other thing too, is unfortunately in the age that we live in, being memorable is also associated with, as equally as much as your real life self and the part of you that exists in the interwebs. And I don't think it's bad if you have a version of you that exists online. I think that as much as I think that there's like two camps of people. There are people who are like, go outside, touch the grass. And then there are the people who are like, you stupid bitches, you don't even know what's going on, you're not online. I think that you have to balance both to live in this society. If you don't want to, of course. I mean, well, if you want to just like live in the woods and like, I don't know, like have a homestead, I think that's beautiful for you. But if you want to be sort of memorable in today's age, you need part of you online and a part of you in the real life. And that can be complicated and that can be hard. Maybe I'll talk more about that in another video. But I don't think it's bad, per se, to have an online presence. part of that is you need to have just a couple cute pictures of yourself. Don't go crazy about this. I have not ruined days, but made days hard where I was like, I can't get a good picture. And I have a cute outfit on. It's fine. Some days you won't get the pic. But if you just have a couple cute pictures of yourself, that is another way to be memorable, to get yourself memorable in many spheres, if that's something you want. So, if you'd like, I'll be taking your picture. And you can do whatever you like with this. Maybe it's just to show your grandparents, your grandkids, in 50 years that you were T back in the day. Maybe it's to post online. Maybe it's just to show people. But I think that, documenting yourself is also a great part of it. Being memorable. So, oh, I almost forgot your mascara. I'm sorry, that's important. Big lashes are a great thing for your little cartoonish look that we were going for. Okay, that's all. You could also do, no, it's okay. Another one, we don't need to do it today, but also a good one, fake lashes. You probably don't even realize how many people are wearing them. I'm not wearing them right now because they're uncomfortable, and also I think my lashes are pretty good as they are. But if you're ever performing, if you're on stage, you need the fakes. Big ones, bigger than you think. That's another biggest takeaway from today. However big you think you need to go a little bigger. So, to document everything, we should be taking a picture. Just set it in place forever. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're feeling a little bit more energized to be the best, most creative, most explosive, memorable version of yourself. It is not a bad thing to be memorable. It is not a bad thing to be over the top. You deserve it. Have a good day.